a senior lecturer in Faculty of Business Management, UiTM Puncak Alam. All right, and what should you call me? I can just call me Miss Farah.
Sorry. So, as for the interview, for our first question, do you use the Malay language in your occupation regularly?
I would say occupation. I would say yes, but it is actually dual language because I'm teaching. So most of the time, when we're talking about teaching, I have to use English. But then for administration matters, in order for me to deal with the staff and operation staff, so I will use Malay then. And also the official matters in terms of whatever dealing with university things, administration, I mean. So most of the time we use Malay for that.
All right. As for the second question, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being hardest and 5 being the easiest, can you rate how easy it is for to master the Malay language?
Okay, to rate. Before I go for the rating, if I'm not mistaken, based on my reading, Malay language is one of the easiest language to be learned. It is there is study about that. But in my opinion, I think it's four.
For number 3, question number 3, do you think the Malay language can become one of the leading languages in this world? And provide your opinion about it.
Okay. Yes, I think yes, Malay can go further. It can be one of prominent language in the world. Um, Based on my opinion, I think it's time. It's time for the world to see us to know the language other than Malay. If you're looking at what happened in UN United Nations meeting last time, even PM Prime Minister have used Malay. Uh, I think he tried to not against, but I think breaking the way of previous ministers doing conducting a meeting. No, I mean attending a meeting by using Malay language, and I think I agree that Malay can be one of the prominent language, as long as there are a lot of I would say a lot of exposure to the world about our language.
Okay, I'll pass on to my partner Zaida.
Okay, so for the fourth question, do you think the Malay language can compete with global languages like English and French when it comes to education, business, or other industries?
Okay, my opinion, as I would say, in terms of how popular the language is or how known people outside around the world in terms of knowing our language is still minimal. I would say that. But if one ask me about whether it can be a prominent language in education, I think we have long way to go about that. Long way to go about that. Because a lot of, I would say, a lot of scholarly, a lot of academics um, readings, a lot are being, I would say, available in English. So it's not really available in Malay. We do have, even in Malaysia, a certain university that are using Malay in their wherever scholar academic papers and everything, but still limited. We can go there, but it's quite far to go.
Okay, thank you for your response. Let's move on to the next question. So, which one between Malay and English should be prioritized in your opinion?
Wow, quite difficult question. Prioritize. Can I be in the middle, neutral?
Yeah, sure.
What I mean is depends on the usage of it. If you want to talk about in order for career matters or to be in international level, definitely English is the one of important language to be mastered. Not because Malay is not good, it's because of that's what people understood, most of people in the world. All right. But my opinion, as personal opinion, um, it is actually important as well in terms of personal matters. For example, like our kids, for example, they need to know Malay language as well. So because it is something that cannot be forgotten. That is our roots. and we are talking about how can we promote Malay to be prominent language if we ourselves not even use it. So both are very important for me. Is and it just depends on what the purpose.
Thank you for your opinion. So the next question is, parents nowadays are more inclined to raise their children using the English language. So what is your take on this?
Okay. Dilemma. Because that is our nation's first language, right? Before we master other language. But we're talking about raising kids or teachers. I think both are needed. English is important for them to go further, to go outside, because that's what people understand out there, and helping them to be able to compete with around of people around the world, so that they are not left behind. If you're looking at the academic books or readings, a lot of them is in English. We are talking about science and mathematics. Most of this reading is all in English. So if they are not being, what to say, if we're not really putting extra attention on the English language to the kids, so that's going to be a problem for them in order for them to go further. But with that, we forget the importance of our for Malay language, so that they can be balanced both, in other countries and also in our country. Yeah.
All right. Now let's move on to the last question that we have today. What do you think are the challenges that Malaysians face?
Challenge. So we are talking previous question. You are talking about is that Malay language can be a prominent language. I think I said yes, but again, um, the challenge is actually how far people know. We're not talking about language. We are talking about the country. Still, there are a lot of people out there not even know Malaysia. So I think the challenge is to promote it, to let them know what Malaysia is and everything. But another challenge is, as I said, most of the readings, a lot of materials out there, a lot of English. But what the challenge is, how can we provide materials in Malay so that other people out of our country can accessible to this kind of materials. You get me? So again, English is important. I think is all is needs from the basic. English is important so that we can be able to compete around the world. We can go outside, people can understand us, and we can be easily seen. But doesn't mean that we have to forget to promote our own language. We still can use it. Maybe another one of the reason that we can promote the Malay language is by having a medium or platform that we prefer to use our own language rather than we use other people language, as I mentioned, like what Prime Minister are doing in UN meetings. So the challenge itself is how can we change our mindset that no, I don't want to speak English in this platform. I want to speak Malay so that people will know this language. So it start from there. Um, there are pro and cons in this have master different language. As I said earlier, because that's English is what people understood around the world. But then in order for us to get out to let people know, the Malay is one of the prominent language that people can learn as well, is that obviously come from us. So if we think that other language is better than our language, then how can we promote that? So that is a challenge. If you're asking about challenge, is the mindset, how we want people to see us, and how far we want to people to understand or get to know, oh, there's a Malay language in the world. um Maybe I can add on a bit. Maybe you can add on in your findings as well. As I said, Malay is one of the easiest language to be learned, and I saw a lot of people from different countries easily can learn Malay anyway. It's supposed to be. I think you can just take a look at some sort of social media. A lot of people from outside of Malaysia, not Malaysians, they are actually is pretty easy to learn Malay language actually. So again, the challenge is actually come from us. It's either we want to promote it, we want to use it, or we prefer to be seen as similar as them by using their languages. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you for joining us
That is
today,
such
Miss
a
Farah,
great answer.
and
All
also
right.
thank you for providing your opinions.